You know, I think for a lot of the OGs in this room, I think that the world has gotten too fast in some areas, and I think people lack patience. I think that a lot of people get caught up that have tremendous skills by wanting it too fast and wanting it to prove to others versus enjoying the process for themselves. That was incredibly beautiful, and thank you. But when I think about the goal I set for myself in 4th grade about buying my beloved New York Jets, you know, obviously many things have gone well for me professionally, but you know, I still have a lot of work to do to amass the wealth to put myself in that position. And to be frank, that is the part that I'm most enjoying. I actually made a video about a decade ago when I really had a moment with myself where I was like, oh man, I might pull this off. You know, if the way this is going, if I do another 20 years of good decision making and putting the right deposits down, I might be able to get into striking distance of this outrageous goal I set for myself. So I made a video. And I made a video that said, I literally, it was almost like a video like from the 1980s hostage videos. I literally held up a newspaper and be like, today is this date. And I said, I'm making this video because in 30 years, if I pull off this great dream, I want everybody who's watching this video to know that today is not my greatest day. Today is potentially my least greatest day as a professional, because what my great love affair has been professionally is chasing the efforts and the strategies and the connections and the decisions to get me here, not to get here. I think our society has fallen in love with trophies, and I'm in love with the game. Grit is teachable.
Really?
Yeah, because it's circumstantial. You can't have grit if mommy and daddy give you money. You know what? But you know what makes me laugh inside about that moment? The people that just laughed and clapped are mommy and daddy. And mommy and daddy come up to me on DM, in my messages, on email, at the airport all the time and say, Gary, I need your help, because they know how much, you know, I'm in a very fortunate spot in my career where 15 to 25 is a demo that I have juice with, and we relationship, and there's an authenticity there. And they say, Gary, I'm struggling, I need grit for my kid, did this, that. And I'm like, stop giving them money. The people that just laughed and clapped are still putting them on the payroll. You don't, like, this is the jungle. And right now, parenting and modern parenting is creating zoo animals. We over-coddle. We've eliminated merit. Our society, well-intended, decided to invent crazy stuff like 8th place trophies. And so we've lost our way out of good intent. This is called a prosperous empire. I was a very poor student, but there was one class I was good at, history. And I never understood why until I got into my early 40s. I'm obsessed with pattern recognition. I know things don't change. I know humans definitely don't change. Circumstances changes, platforms changes, mediums change. We are the Roman Empire. When you started this and you said, can you believe this, the America? Listen, America's got its things, what doesn't? But I promise you, nobody's leaving. So this is a remarkable place, but we must also acknowledge we've had a level of prosperity for so long that we're soft. People are complaining about going to an office 5 days a week as if we're like hanging them from trees. It's insanity. By the way, I want everybody to hear this. I'm not proposing that we need to be in the office 5 days a week. I believe in technology, I believe in Zoom, I believe in efficiency. That's not what I'm proposing. I'm asking this room, are we paying attention to what people complain about? As we sit here right now, there are 850 million people around this world, over 10% of our society, that does not have access to clean water. I sit on the board of Charity Water. There are 850 million people, as we sit here right now, that cannot get to clean water within 12 hours. And we're complaining that we got the wrong milk at the Starbucks. We've gotten so soft. Yeah. And so how do you get to grit? You either live it. It's similar to, but it can be taught. I have watched trust fund kids get caught up financially, and over a 2 to 3 year period, first go through a year of detox? If you're paying for your kids' Uber or Equinox membership or their apartment, or like you take that away, that's detox. That's a drug. But after that year, things start to change. Yeah. And right now, too many parents and kids have double resentment relationships. Because let me tell you a dirty secret, parents that are putting kids on payroll. I'm getting the DMs also from the 25-year-olds, and here's the insight that is not being talked about in public. A 25-year-old that has their parents paying for their lifestyle is subconsciously and now starting to consciously understand that their parent doesn't think they're capable of. You think you're helping, but you're creating levels of insecurity. And so these are complicated matters. I don't sit up here on a pedestal. I have 2 children, I get it. When you love something more than breathing and yourself, of course you're gonna do. But there's a reason that we talk about grit. It's because it's going away, because it's really frothy out there. People have lost so many things. Again, over 45-year-olds, remember the concept of saving money? People don't even talk about that anymore. People are more interested in buying things to flex, to put Band-Aids on their insecurities. And so they're buying BMWs and Louis Vuitton. Dumb shit. To me, education is the single most important thing in the world, period. The packaging and selling of education, I think, needs to be thought about because it always ebbs and flows. The world changes. This morning I gave a speech at a very significant marketing conference that had all the Fortune 500 CMOs down in Miami. And what I said to the room was, this industry of ours, the Fortune 500 Madison Avenue agency world, we're romantic about yesterday, the Mad Men era, and we're infatuated with tomorrow, the metaverse and AI, and we stink at today. And I feel very similar about education. You know, if I was the dean and had that kind of blessing, I would reverse engineer the practicality of the reality of the world. I would focus on the things that are clearly, you know how bright this room is? There's very few people here who couldn't right now list 5 to 7 clear opportunities of the next decade that would really benefit our children in learning. I literally hire kids out of college. I have a 2,000 person global agency, and I look at the curriculum that colleges are teaching for marketing at the highest levels. And there's literally kids, as we sit here right now, being taught how to write a press release in marketing class. Do you know how insane that is? So, you know, I would create a curriculum that would focus on things like prompt engineering, because that is gonna be the skill set that will make people know how to use AI properly for an outcome. If it was entrepreneurship, we'd maybe never be in the classroom because nothing is happening in there in entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is like working out. You can't read about push-ups. You have to do them. And to be an entrepreneur, you have to do. And I see all sorts of kids, but you know, I'm 48. So I came up when entrepreneurship wasn't even a thing. When I was in my 20s, forget about a child. In my 20s, I'm like, I want to be a businessman. That was the word for entrepreneurship. If I even heard entrepreneurship, and again, some of the lovely faces out there that are over 45, you remember this. If entrepreneurship was thrown around 25 years ago, that was code for loser. Right? And then it flipped heavy in the last 15 years to the point where, like, when I see that sizzle reel, I'm like, that's the stuff I grew up with that would look for like an athlete or a rapper. Like, it's cool now, which is amazing because it's my great passion. It is my great joy. But I also believe that it confused a lot of people. There's a lot of people who now want to be entrepreneurs. I want to be the quarterback of the New York Jets. It's not happening. And I think my concern is that a lot of people go into entrepreneurship thinking it's a thing. It is a skill set. And if I was to teach entrepreneurship in this incredible institution, we may never be in the classroom. We'd have to go do entrepreneurial things. Including, first and foremost, just like you have that swag, if you can't sell, you might as well get some other gig. And so there's a lot to it, but you don't learn about selling by reading one of my books. You have to go out and sell. One of the great things that I believe, I couldn't, I'm sure a lot of people here have children, grandchildren, or even people in 20s, 30s, 40s who are looking to mix it up. One of the great opportunities for everyone, if they truly care about entrepreneurship, is to work retail. Interacting with human beings and understanding how they roll is the only way you're gonna figure this out. And I think retail, restaurant, hospitality, true interaction at scale with humans of all different shapes and sizes and income levels and interests, and having that ability to reverse engineer and counterpunch every situation, that's a skill set that you have to refine. I learned that on Tingley Lane in Edison, New Jersey, selling lemonade. I learned that at the Phillipsburg Mall in New Jersey selling baseball cards. I learned that at my daddy's liquor store in Springfield, New Jersey. Like those Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours, by the time I was 22, I was in the game.